Well, thank you for being here. And just this place is so wonderful. I just am so appreciative of it. So let's take a moment to just get present in this space. And because we're mammals and we have nervous systems, it often is really helpful just to look around the room and look around and sort of say hi to the faces maybe you know. Say hi to the faces maybe you don't know. Notice the beautiful tankas and the flowers and the Buddhas and the green taras. Just take a look and if you're sitting next to if you're online, sorry, I'm new on the bye thing. I usually do 100% Zoom. On Zoom, you can look around your own room. See how it looks. Move from side to side. That really calms down your vagus nerve. And and I'm going to lead a guided meditation tonight, which is based on the elements and on gratitude. Oh, thank you. I came back closer there. So, yeah, so just come into a comfortable position, whatever that is for you. And just start bringing your awareness and your breath together. You can lower your gaze or close your eyes if that's comfortable. Just breathing in, knowing that you're breathing in, breathing out, knowing that you're breathing out. Keeping the awareness joined with the breath. And in the work that reconnects and in many spiritual traditions, we start with gratitude. So on your exhale, take your awareness and your breath out into the air and give gratitude to the air that we breathe. It's a miracle. And gratitude, sending gratitude out to the trees and the plants that make our oxygen that we breathe in. And on your exhale, you're sending out carbon dioxide to the trees and the plants that they're breathing in. So, where do I end and the tree begin? We're interbeing. Mm. And gratitude to all the billions of other beings that make our air possible. The microbes in the soil, the diodes in the oceans, the fungi and the mycelium, and all the animals and birds that we share this air with. What I breathe in, another being has breathed out. What I breathe out, another being breathes in. I'm just in this room sending out gratitude to the beings here we're sharing this air with. What was once in you is now in me. What was in me is now in you. So just rest for a moment in that awareness of the interconnection, the interbeing, the codependent nature of our breath. That this whole little teeny sliver of atmosphere around the earth is being co-created by the living planet and all her beings, resting into gratitude for the air. And on your inhale, bring your awareness back into your body. And if you can, feel your breath as it moves your whole body. And take a moment to be aware of the weight of your body, the flesh and the bones being held on the earth through gravity. I like to think of gravity as Earth's way of hugging us. We're being hugged into the earth so that we don't go flying off into space. And then with the breath, follow that pull of gravity in your body down into the earth. We give gratitude to Mother Earth, sending our thanks for our bodies, for our clothes, for our houses, for all that we have has come out of the earth. The minerals in our bones was once coral reefs or mountain ranges. We've built our bodies from the animals and plants that we've eaten that were once part of the earth. So sending our gratitude down through the soil and the microbes and the rocks, all the way down to that red hot core of the earth, that beating heart that holds us. Giving our gratitude to Mother Earth. And then bringing our awareness back up with our inhale into our bodies. Mm. Now become aware of the water in our bodies. We're 60% water. Water in our veins, in every cell, in our mouths, in our eyes. Amniotic fluid in a mother's womb is the same salinity as the ocean from which we were born. And on an exhale, there's a lot of water vapor in our breath. And your awareness out into the world of water. We're a water planet. The water that's in our bodies is the same water that's been circulating around the planet for billions of years. So the water in us was once in the dinosaurs, was once in the primordial oceans, was once in our ancestors. That same water circulating through us, through the rivers, through the oceans, through the rain and the clouds. Sending out great gratitude to Grandmother Ocean and all the waters of the world. And can say gratitude to our ancestors, those first multi-celled creatures in the oceans that began evolving into fish and then into reptiles and mammals and primates and then humans. And then we can give thanks and gratitude to the human ancestors who made our lives possible for us to be here today. And bringing your awareness back into your body if you're out swimming around in the ocean, bringing it back to the ocean that's inside us. And then become aware of the heat in your body. Your body is warm, generates its own energy. And every cell or the small little mitochondria, the engines that create the energy for us to move and think and be. And that energy comes from the food we eat, the plants and the animals. But the energy that they have comes from the energy of the sun. And the core of the sun is still the energy of the Big Bang 13 billion years ago. So that energy of the sun and the Big Bang coming into the plants and the animals and then into us and running each cell in our bodies. So we are part of that much larger story. So on an exhale, send your consciousness up perhaps through the top of your head up to the sun. Say gratitude to Grandfather Fire, to the sun, to that energy of the Big Bang, to the stars. We are something like 98% stardust. The atoms in our bodies were made in stars. So we are part, we interbe with the stars and the whole cosmos and that energy of that much vaster intelligence, awareness, emptiness, whatever name we want to put on it. We are part of that. It's in us. We are part of it. So resting for a moment in that expanded awareness of ourselves as part of the vast universe. Stardust, energy, connecting to that vastness. Coming back to your breath. Take the end, last 10 or so minutes of this sit in silence. And resting in gratitude for the elements, for our interconnection with the earth, with the air, with the water, with the fire and the stars. That we are part of, that we interbe with, as Thich Nhat Hanh says. We are interbeing. Interbeing. The sun has entered me. The sun has entered me together with the cloud and the river. I myself have entered the river, and I have entered the sun with the cloud and the river. There has not been a moment when we do not interpenetrate. But before the sun entered me, the sun was in me, also the cloud and the river. Before I entered the river, I was already in it. There has not been a moment when we have not interbeen. Therefore, you know that as long as you continue to breathe, I continue to be in you. Thich Nhat Hanh. Mhm. We get ready to end our meditation. Maybe bring your awareness to your own heart. Breathing in and out some gratitude to yourself, which is often the hardest. Gratitude to yourself for being here. Gratitude to the good deeds you have done and the mistakes you have made, and the things you have learned. And you know, open eyes or raise your gaze. Mm. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think there's a 5-minute break. Great. Buddy back in. I was just saying this is a first time I've taught in a long time with actual bodies in the room. I've been teaching a lot, so much online, and it feels so good. Thank you for being here. It's just like, oh, yes, yay. No, it's lovely. So, I want to introduce the work that reconnects, which is been my primary practice for 30 years now. And I just want to say one of the things that Jen missed was that I've been also practicing in the Tibetan tradition. Was able to take refuge with the previous Kalu Rinpoche, older one. And so the Tibetan Buddhist lineage is a lineage that really informs the work that reconnects, that sense of interbeing, and that I'm gonna have to put my glasses on my notes, but can I put my glasses on? Oh, so Joanna Macy, oh no, I can't do that. See, we'll work this out. The reading glasses make it hard to see you, but it makes it harder to see the paper, but I know what I'm doing. So the work that reconnects is a body of work that has been informed by Buddha Dharma, deep ecology, systems thinking, and indigenous wisdom from around the world. And Joanna Macy and a few other people started that work in the 70s during the anti-nuclear movement. And it came about as a group process to help activists who were burning out and getting depressed and being filled with grief and rage about what was happening with nuclear waste and nuclear meltdowns, etc. So, sound familiar? We're very much in that now. So the work is very designed to meet the times that we're in. So Joanna started that work as a group work, and it evolved with um, deep ecology thinking, and evolved with John Seed and Arnie Nass to include really ritual practices of how do we understand ourselves to be interconnected with all the rest of life? Because when we get that, we have to shift how we live on the planet. It opens us to our interbeing so that we can then, one, tap into that intelligence, and two, start making choices about how we live and what we do in a different way. So the work goes around a spiral called the spiral of the work that connects. And Arya, you can chime in if I forget anything. Arya and I started studying with Joanna at about the same time. So she and I are going to lead a workshop coming up, but I'll tell you about that later. So the spiral starts with gratitude, which is what we did today. Because when we start in gratitude, we open our hearts to the earth. We open our hearts to our fellow beings. Hopefully, we open our hearts to ourselves. And when we open our hearts, we also open our hearts to the pain for the world. So the second phase of the spiral of the work is honoring our pain. And our pain is a reflection of our interconnection. It's a reflection of our love. We don't grieve for the shopping mall. We grieve for the haircut. We grieve for the children in Gaza. We grieve for the destruction of the rainforests. We grieve for the inhumanity that man is doing to man. So our grief is really a doorway into our love. So we honor our pain, our grief, our rage, and we'll do a little practice in a bit to explore that a little bit more. So when we honor our pain and we allow ourselves to feel it so we can self-liberate into the love, into the passion for justice, into the creativity that we all have for life, then we move into what we call the seeing with new and ancient eyes, which is where we went in the meditation. Indigenous wisdom teachings from around the world have all said we're all one. We're all connected. We're all related. And quantum physics right now is agreeing with that. And science is agreeing with that. We are all one living system. We are. So that coming into seeing with those new eyes, those ancient eyes, because in our culture, we're so into separation. You know, I'm separate from the earth. You're separate from me. I'm separate from the divine. I'm separate from, oh, you over there. So, how do we overcome that separation? Because it's through finding that interconnection that we then can take action in the world that is of benefit to beings. Because once we realize we're all connected and we're all related, then we can move. And the fourth stage of the spiral is going forth. How do we go forth and be of benefit to the planet? So those are the four stages of the spiral. I want to tell the story. Okay, I'm going to do a quick bit on the three stories. There's a framework for the work. There's three stories. We live in stories. We have our own stories about our lives. We have stories about your life. We have stories that we live in. We are living in a story, and we can change that story. The story we're living in right now in the work we call business as usual, which isn't business as usual for the last couple thousand years. It's the military, industrial, capitalist, consumer culture that says go shopping, buy stuff, because you're not good enough and you have to have more of my stuff. So that's a business. Anybody else anybody else have an idea of what business as usual? What adjective? Work That Reconnects is also really interactive, so it's really hard for me not to have people interact with. So if you're online, you can unmute yourself and you can give a suggestion. What does business as usual mean to you that you see on the planet, Jen? Not enough. Yep, not good enough. We'll get to why gratitude's so important for that. Anybody else? Competition, yeah. Competition versus cooperation. Power over rather than power with. Thank you. Anybody
Transactional.
else? Excuse me?
Transactional.
Transactional. Yeah, if you give me this, then I give you that rather than coming from generosity and enoughness. Anybody else? Disconnected. Yep. So that's a story that we're living in that we think, I mean, I used to think that that was the way it is. It doesn't have to be that way. There's other stories that we can make up. So another story that's really popular right now is the Great Unraveling. It's all falling apart. It's all going to hell in a handbasket. The oceans are dying. People are hating each other. Everybody's fighting. Yada 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 yada. So the Great Unraveling story is because of the business as usual story, and they're both happening together. So the Great Unraveling is the news every day, pretty much. That's what we get. We get the Great Unraveling news. But there's another story, and in the Work That Reconnects, we call it the Great Turning. And it's the idea that humans are evolving, life moves towards more life, and I always like to think of the Great Turning as a steering wheel, that we're turning away from that military, industrial, capitalist, business as usual world, and we're turning towards a life-sustaining, cooperative, light and life-based world. So that great turning is happening. It's part of human evolution where I'm going to get off on this too much and not have enough time for that, so I have to keep going. The world, we can think of three major revolutions in human development. We had the agricultural revolution, which changed totally how people lived on the planet, from hunter-gatherers to having fields and food, and that gave us the ability to have cities and mosques and temples and walls and wars and a lot, I've got this area, you've got that area, let's go fight each other. So the agricultural revolution and then the industrial revolution, which is partly what's gotten us to here, that sense of separation with the industrial revolution of us as separate from the earth and not reliant on the earth. And here we are, rocket ships and air conditioning and all the rest of it. And then the third is we now are in an ecological revolution. We're turning back. We're going forward. Part of that's coming back into learning how to live in harmony with the earth again. So those are the three stories, and we can choose which story we want to live in. I'm voting for the Great Turning story. So I hope you guys are as well. So that's sort of the framework of the Work That Reconnects, and it works. It's just a very transformational process. Who in the room has done it? I know Jen has, and Aria, a long time ago. So Joanne has been a wonderful teacher, and she's still alive at 96 now, 95, 96. And very inspirational. So the threads of the Dharma feed through it, and deep ecology and systems thinking. And anyway, so I want to start us with gratitude, because we started with gratitude in the meditation. And we can think about gratitude as being sort of wimpy. Oh, it's nice to be grateful. And gratitude does it improves your health, it monitors your immune system, it can drop you out of fight, flight, or freeze. And you can choose gratitude in any moment. It's not dependent on circumstances. You can go, oh, grateful, and it can drop you into or drop you out of the judging mind. So Joanna used to always talk about, I remember saying this, it's like, gratitude is a revolutionary act. It's subversive. It's because when we live in a capitalist consumer culture that's always telling us we're not enough, we're not good enough, you're not tall enough, thin enough, rich enough, got enough, to be able to come with gratitude, cut through that with gratitude is an incredibly powerful act. gratitude, and it's hard. At least it was hard for me. I got told to do gratitude practice, I think in my 20s. And I remember, practice gratitude in the morning, practice gratitude in the evening, writing out things that I should be grateful for. It's such a struggle. I grew up in Manhattan. And I mean, you did not be grateful for anything. You found something wrong. I can find something wrong with something in a nanosecond. My children will attest to that. Um, so really working your mind to be able to see what you can be grateful for at any moment can cut through that business as usual story and liberate us from all those messages of you're not good enough, you're not tall enough, you're not white enough, you're not whatever enough. So it really is a revolutionary act. It also is an incredible resource. So I wanted people to take a moment, and people on Zoom as well. I want you to think about, maybe close your eyes would be good because you can visualize a person, a place, a thing, a pet that you're grateful for because they make you feel safe. They make you feel good. They make you feel loved. It could be a pet. I know my cat Donnie, when I think of her curling up on my lap, it's like, oh, okay, life is okay. So it could be a pet. It could be a place in nature. Where do you go? Visualize that being or that place or that thing. Take a moment to feel it. What does that do to, what is it? What are the colors in that space? What are the smells? What does that being feel like if you hug them or smell like if you're in a forest? Your nervous system actually doesn't know the difference between you imagining it and you seeing it. So that ability to call that resource in when things get difficult is really important. So open eyes again. And I'd just like to hear popcorn. And if anybody on Zoom wants to raise their hand, or they can unmute themselves and just say, what was it for you that's a resource, that's that being, that place that nurtures you, that makes you feel good? You appreciated what was it a place or just and people? People who appreciate you. For me, I have a copper beech tree that was my best friend growing up. Whenever I think of that tree, it's just like, okay, I'm okay. I was in the center of redwood trees. Redwood trees, right. And how did it make you feel when to remember that? Hmm. Anybody else? Anybody online want to share their being or their place? Someone flipped around, but you have to unmute in order for it to. Allison,
The land that I live on.
land. Yeah. Anybody else? So that being, that place. Excuse me? Oh, Colleen has one. Okay. Thank you.
Now you can hear me, I think.
Yes, good. A little louder.
Oh, my backyard, the flowers in my backyard are incredibly beautiful now and have been for quite some time. And this is a sanctuary for me. Just
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. So, as we are dealing with very turbulent times, to be able to call on that being, that place, that sense of gratitude for that particular being, place, or just gratitude in general, can drop us out of fight, flight, or freeze and enable us to deal with the situation not by reacting. We don't go into, "Ooh." So we can go into dealing with the circumstances that we're dealing with in a much healthier way. And it's not only gratitude for the good stuff, gratitude for the difficult is also incredibly important. And there's a quote that I have been working with for years and years, is that in the difficult are the friendly forces, the hands that form us. I had an opportunity to really test that theory recently. When I moved up here a year ago, and I ended up in the hospital for a month. I had got strep, it went septic, I was intubated. Carol and Shirley were wonderful people and came to visit me in the hospital. And I was like, once I came out of that, I was like, okay, what can I be grateful for in this circumstance? What can I lean into? I mean, I cried because I said, okay, I'm going to be on meditation retreat. I am going to treat this time in the hospital like a retreat. I mean, fortunately, I have a practice. I have whatever, 50 something years, and just leaned into that time as an opportunity to practice. And I mean, I had to relearn how to breathe, so mindfulness of breath, got really focused. I had to learn how to swallow again, mindfulness of eating, of swallowing, so concentrated, and mindful of walking. I had to walk with a walker for the first few weeks, so mindfulness of walking, mindfulness of sitting, holding my head up, and just mindful of the people and gratitude for the people. I mean, I felt so blissed out in the hospital. I mean, I was just so thankful to the doctors and the nurses and the friends who came to visit. And then when I got home, the friends who, helped take care of me. And just that shift was so incredible. And I felt so blessed to have had a practice to put to use in that situation. But that shifting into gratitude for that difficult circumstance it's why I'm here today, because it really just opened me up so much to, um, it was a really deep practice for a month at least. So, learning to be grateful for the difficult, the 13th slogan of the Luzhong, I get them confused. I do Luzhong, which is Tibetan yoga, and then there's Lozhong, which are the slogans. Of Atisha, it says, be grateful to everyone, particularly the difficult, because they give you the chance to practice. How am I going to practice being compassionate and patient and kind if it's all always nice all the time? So really being grateful to those difficult people, because they are the ones that give us the opportunity to show up, to do the work, to be there. Um, and when I was talking earlier about the difficult emotions, it's also how can we be grateful for those difficult emotions when they arise? And I just put this together when I was doing this talk, the whole honoring our pain is really an honoring our difficult emotions is as a form of gratitude. It's listening to our bodies, listening to the messages, those friendly forces of the difficult that are the hands that form us. So in the work that reconnects, we talk about the tantric flip or the reverse. So when we say honor our pain, the world, say our grief. And as I said earlier, our grief is our doorway to our love. We wouldn't be feeling grief if we weren't in love. So being able to lean into the grief, and the Tibetan say self-liberate. I love that concept. If we lean into the grief, it self-liberates into love. Because the grief is just telling us we're in love with something. Like when my 6-year-old granddaughter fell and broke her arm, I was like, oh no. And it was because I love her and I don't want her to be hurt. Our rage. I mean, how many people are feeling a little enraged at the moment about what's going on the planet or in our government? Yay for rage. Because our rage, we would not be enraged if injustice wasn't being done. A rage is we self-liberates into our passion for justice. So we can take that energy, and instead of having it be an energy that's making other people wrong and enraged, if we take it into that rage is our energy, that's our passion for justice, that's our passion for doing something good in the world. So being able to be grateful to our rage and to the people who make it happen. That's the really difficult part. A very big challenge of opening the heart and being able to be with those difficult people and those difficult circumstances. And then I think of our fear. How many people are experiencing fear? And OMG, what's going to happen to the planet, the children, the species, myself? So the fear of what's happening right now. So again, grateful to the fear because it means you're paying attention. It means you're standing at the edge of your courage. How many people just back away and like, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to have that information coming in because it makes me afraid, so I'm not going to be there. So our fear is really also where we are in our courage. We're willing to stand with the truth of what is. And so the courage is the flip side of our fear. They're two sides of the same. So the other one that we could talk about is despair. We're all going to hell in a handbasket. It's not going to work. All this speech, it's like, so despair, in a way, is such a gift because we're giving up us, me, little mind, trying to figure it out. It's like, I don't know. And when we hit, I don't know, we can open into other possibilities of maybe that vast universe that we visited knows, or maybe the earth knows, or maybe the microbes know, or maybe the fox who comes across my backyard knows. When we allow ourselves to not try to have to figure it all out myself, then we can open into that bigger intelligence, which then can lead us into seeking those places and ways that we can access that bigger wisdom that's outside of ourselves. One teacher And we know Wes Nisker. Anybody familiar with him? Yeah. So God bless Wes. Um, he did a whole series on Dharma and science. And he talked about how we're a baby species. We haven't been around that long. I mean, the redwood trees, the oak trees, the microbes, they have all been here a lot longer than we have. And they sort of figured it out. They've had millions of years to figure it out, to how to work in harmony with each other and move the sugars around under the ground and get the sunlight down and turn it into carbon and how to share. We haven't figured it out yet. We're just this baby species with this big brain and all this capacity that's sort of, "Bleh." So how can we drop in to that interconnection, to that interbeing, and access the wisdom that we're part of? This whole planet is so brilliant and genius and amazing and a miracle. And we're part of that. So this goes into the sort of interbeing, which in Buddhism they call dependent origination. We're all interconnected. Thich Nhat Hanh calls interbeing. Um, and it's not woo-woo, as I was saying. Quantum physics and scientists are all confirming that this is actually true. And one of the images that I really like to work with, that the Buddha worked with and talked about, was the concept of Indra's net. I mean, people familiar with Indra's net? Um, so God Indra is like the head god of the Hindu pantheon, and he had some of the other gods create a net that covered the whole universe in all directions. And at each cross of the net was a jewel, a faceted, multifaceted jewel. And that each jewel reflected all the other jewels. So any change in one jewel at this end of the universe got reflected in the jewels of all the other jewels in the universe and affected everything else. And Christopher Titmuss, who was one of my teachers, um, remember him introducing this concept of Indra's net, and I loved it. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get really quiet, and I'm gonna go meditate, and I'm gonna get into Indra's net. And I got really quiet, and I'm sitting, and I'm like, okay, jump. There wasn't anywhere to go because you're already in it. It was such a surprise. And Joanna talks about the fact that there's no amount of stupidity, there's no amount of mistakes that you can do or anything that will knock you out of that net. We're all in, we're embedded in it. We're part of this incredible web of life on this planet, the web of the cosmos. And there's something so reassuring to me about, the New Yorker thing. I've got to do this and I've got to achieve that and I've got to, do good stuff. Like, okay, there's nothing I can do that'll knock me out of the net. And there's nothing I can do that'll put me in it because I'm already there. So that sense of belonging, which as humans, we all really want to belong. We want to be connected. And to find that place where we are all interconnected, which mindfulness practice, that's what the Buddha taught, was that we are all interdependent, and we're all arising together. not just you and me, but the tree and the microbes and the sun and the stars. And the ability to be able to be there, to me, makes being alive right now possible, because there's an intelligence that I am part of that is much vaster than me, that is moving towards more life, and I can be part of that. Mm. So we have practices in the Work That Reconnects. So, I want to make time for questions, where we ask nature beings who wants to talk to us, and we find there it's a bird or a microbe or an animal or a rock or a mountain who wants to communicate and be in us so that we can speak for them. And that this is a shamanic practice that humans for generations and generations and thousands of years have been doing, and we're wired to be part of this whole living system, and we can access it. So we ask, it's a wonderful practice, and someday we'll do it here. We'll have a great time. You go out in nature and ask for a being, and they come, and then you make a mask, and you go back to kindergarten and have a great time making a mask. And then we have a council, and we listen to the voices that come through, because that is part of what we can do as human beings. So as we go forth, is now the last stage of the spiral, that we go forth in ways that are healing to the planet, because we understand we're part of it. And listening, and which is what we do when we meditate, listening to and deeply listening to that vaster wisdom, that awareness, emptiness, consciousness that's all around us and in us and is us, is listening to what does life want? That movement of the great turning towards more life. What is being asked of us to go forth, carrying life towards more life? So I want to read my other poem, and then we'll have questions. Okay, this is one of my favoriteest poems, and probably most people are familiar with it. The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who are violently sweeping your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the malice, the shame. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. And be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So, yeah, question. Any questions? There's a microphone here, and then we have people on Zoom. Or to share, how was the, um, any ahas, anything you learned, anything you disagree with? Yes, Shirley.
I'm going to pass
Wait,
the
wait,
microphone,
wait.
Shirley, so the people on Zoom can hear. So I'm going to pass the mic.
Thanks, dear.
Yeah, that way.
Okay. Hi, people on Zoom. Shirley here. I've known about IntersNet and worked with IntersNet over many years. I really get it that when I know I'm part of the net and I can't fall out, I'm safe. And I'm part of the net no matter what's else is going on in the world. And It's really a nice feeling.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm. Else. Where do you feel your connection?
Tim,
Thanks so much, Constance, for the talk and the guided meditation. It reminds me of when I first started practice, my teacher was a student of Thich Nhat Hanh's, and he was also a student of Joanna Macy's. And so this is kind of bringing me back there. And, I think at some point, I kind of strayed from those practices because I felt too hopeless. It's been like 30 years and like
Yeah.
things have gotten worse, and I felt like I've gotten kind of cynical about that. And at one point I really wanted to try to help save the world, and it just seems like we're going in the opposite direction. But I feel really happy to have you here and to help reinvigorate that in me and other folks here. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the work is very interactive. So you all have the wisdom in you. So I want to hear more. What came up for you? And online folks too, please. I think someone's watching. If you raise your hand, we can see you. That was me.
When you're talking about Indra's net, I kind of fell into this space of like a singularity in the vastness of space. There's this little pinprick where my existence, receives all this energy in, and also it flows out of me into this space, and I'm just, sitting on the brink of it all.
Cool. Thank you. Anybody online? You're back there?
yeah, we have another
We have
comment.
a question from Ellen online.
Oh, okay.
Ellen,
I'm not hearing anything though.
Ellen, you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you still want to comment.
You're still muted, dear.
Yeah. I actually forget what I was going to say. I just got off on something else, but since all this political madness has gone on, I've been feeling myself more separate, and so I'm really grateful to you tonight to just reconnect, to just shed this fighting I'm doing in my head, with so many things. I was just mistaking everything and feeling just feeling more separate, and I'm feeling a lot better now in this last hour and a half. I'm really grateful to you for that.
Yay.
I'm Carl, and I'm new to this community and here for a couple months. And I'm really grateful to myself that I rushed here tonight to be here and to listen to you, because I'm really touched. It really touched me in many ways. And the thing, I've been trying to sit in nature as much as I can, and I'm finding that nature is really trying to teach me.
We're having a hard time hearing.
Am
Can
I
that turn off? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling that nature is really trying to teach me. I'm not asking it. It's telling me what it wants, right? It's the opposite of me asking it a question. It's kind of telling me, because I'm just sitting and listening. And I live on Hawaii. I'm very blessed. So every place is beautiful, but I've really been spending a lot of time listening, and I want to learn more from you. I want to come back and get to know you better.
No,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Carol. Anybody else on Zoom land?
The word that keeps to my mind the whole time you spoke, Constance, was reciprocity. And first it was reciprocity with those microbes and those trees and all the elemental beings and nature. But then it got bigger. There was reciprocity with the despair, the fear, the rage, all of those. I realized, oh my goodness, that's a two-way street. And then the image of the net with all the jewels. I mean, the shining, the reciprocity, all those billions of jewels together. And I don't know, it's just clearly the inner exchange of energy from one to another. And I feel like how you spoke captured that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have someone online. Colleen, you can go ahead and speak.
Okay, I actually just wanted to express my gratitude to you, Constance, for giving us this talk, because there were so many parts to that that I felt very close to. And I'm a really lover of the earth. I have been ever since I can remember, and I so appreciate having you express that. And I wish everybody could hear that, because or everybody could find that within themselves, however they may do it. So anyway, this is all I'm saying is just thank you, thank you.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
I was going to,
We'll
go ahead.
close.
Yeah, my name's Don.
Hi, Dawn.
I wanted to echo the gratitude, to thank you for this. I go back many, many, many years with Mountain Stream, but I haven't sat for 15, probably 10 to 15. And I was doing a devotional practice with a group in Sacramento. And that was the extent of the practice, was devotion to a higher power. And since Gaza happened, I've been really struggling with them, because they don't talk about any of the stuff that you talk about. And so I recently had backed away. And 5 minutes into this tonight, you mentioned Gaza, and the tears were running down my face, because I had been missing that engaged spirituality. So I really do want to thank you. And everything you said tonight resonated with me a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Constance, I'd love to say something. You referenced kindergarten at one point, I think when you were talking about masks, but there's just this part of me that feels like, oh my gosh, I can relax. This is not going to be this complicated. This is like kindergarten. This is all making sense to me. And I have worked with Joanna Macy, and so there's a happy, resonating familiarity, but I think we all know that we all get up in our heads a lot of times. And so I often sort of find myself thinking like, what am I supposed to be focusing on? What's the good part? What's my mantra? Just like spinning. And so to be reminded to trust the feeling parts, to trust the big emotions, to like the woman in the back was saying, like, get reciprocal with what is arising and then be grateful for it. I feel like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to forget that for a long time. It makes a lot of sense. It not only it not only sounds possible, which is a head thing, but it feels right. It feels real. So thank you for this whole exploration together. It's really helpful.
Yeah, it's been really wonderful to be here. Any last burning share that wants to come through? We're all wisdom walking We're all the earth walking. We're all the stardust shining. So we all have stuff to bring. And so let's dedicate our time together to the welfare of all beings and the healing of the planet and sending out loving kindness. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings not be separated from the highest bliss, which is free from all suffering. May all beings dwell in the great equanimity, which is free from all attachment and aversion. May we all find that place where we connect to that which is larger than ourselves. And may all beings be held in love. Thank you. Oh, I get to actually ding.
Mm-mm-mm.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so nice to have bodies to talk to and an actual bell that rings. Because when I do meditations and things online, I'm like always going ding, because if I ring the bell, it goes clunk. So thank you, thank you. It's wonderful to sit with you all.